Good morning. Now, as business owners and entrepreneurs, there are fundamentals that we all read about, focus on, learn about, and they're really important in order for the success of our business. However, there are times when we stray away from these really basic fundamentals, and they're important because they will really help the success of your business. They're going to keep your clients happy and help you cultivate business and keep quality control up. And so they're things that they're basic, but we tend to stray away from them at times, and it's really important not to. So I have a top 5 to do and to don't list. That's not a mistake. There are things that you don't want to do in order to be successful, and there's also things you want to make sure you're doing as a business owner. So the top 5 to-dos and to-don'ts. Number 1, understand your market, who you're marketing to. It's really important that you understand that and you define that and you stick to it. You don't want to stray away from that because you can end up kind of all over the map, and it's just important for many reasons that you know who you're marketing to. And it can be easy to stray away from that, and sometimes in the beginning, when you just start your business, you may be figuring that out along the way, but once you do end up knowing who your target market is, you want to stick with that. Now, number 2 on the list, know your limits and don't go over your limits, and that's specific to your workload. So everybody has a certain number of hours that they are able to work each week or month, or however you figure out your limit. Now, we all have a breaking point. So if you know you can work 30 hours, 35 hours, 40 hours, it's unique to you. Remember, you are a business owner, so you are able to set those hours. So it's tempting to take on every client sometimes that comes our way, even if it's a really ideal prospect client. But if that's putting you over the limit of how many hours you can work, it can let down the client. It can affect quality control. It can affect turnaround times. You'll be overwhelmed. You may be letting a client down, and it's just better to say no. So don't work past your limit. It really can be difficult to stick to, and we can start piling on, but just make sure that you know your limit. Take the time to figure out exactly what your kind of sweet spot is and stick to it, and don't stray away from that. Now, you want to set boundaries as far as your office hours. Don't work outside of your office hours. Now, it's important to set specific office hours for a few reasons. One of them is you want to be clear with your clients and even your prospect clients when you're available, because sometimes your availability may not be a good match for a client. You also want your clients to know when you're available, just for expectations, turnaround time, when you're going to be typically available for phone calls, or Skype or video calls, Zoom, anything like that. So you want to make sure that you're really clear with those office hours and don't work outside of them. If you happen to be working outside of them, it's important to not contact your clients directly, because when you start doing that outside of your office hours, clients will expect you to be working those hours, and it can sometimes end up in a never-ending day, or you feel like you need to reply to clients outside of your normal working hours. So stick to your office hours. Don't work outside of those office hours. Now, this is a tough one, but don't take on every client that comes your way. Now, let's say you have the availability and you speak to a prospect client. However, they are not an ideal client. It can be a skill set issue. Maybe the skill set's not a great match for what the client's looking for. It can be turnaround time. They're looking to turn around a project, and you know that it is going to be a huge, huge stretch for you to do that. It's probably best to pass that prospect client along to somebody who can better suit their needs. And that way you're not stretching yourself too thin, you're not letting down your clients, and you always want to make sure your prospect clients know that that you are interested in them being supported, and even if that means sending them to somebody else. Now, last but certainly not least, absolutely do not negotiate your price. Please remember that you are worth it. When you have a set rate, whatever your pricing structure is, whether it's an hourly rate, blocks of time, retainer, whatever that is, it can be easy when you have the room to take on a client and the availability, and you speak to somebody and they say, you know what, I really was looking to spend X amount of dollars. It can be tempting to say, well, you know, I'll just make an exception. Don't do that. You set your pricing for a reason, so you want to stick to your pricing and don't stray away from that. Now, I know these are basics, but they're really, really going to help the success of your business when you're growing and cultivating new business, just in order to not exhaust yourself, not feel like working 24/7, have boundaries. It's really going to help the success of your clients and help the success of your business. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already liked our Facebook page, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, drop us a line in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in, and have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week.